what can we do to change our politics? And I think I like that question. And there is actually no shortcut. The only thing we can do to change our politics is to change the people. The problem is that we as the people are always thinking that the leaders are the problem. And when I internalize and check out these leaders very well, today, when I was in high school, I believed the leaders were the problem. I got to campus and still thought the leaders were the problem. Now I see my colleagues part of the leadership. And I'm still seeing a problem. And it can't be the same thing, and then I'm expecting different results. And so I want to challenge you that the reason why you are thinking that the leaders are the problem is just that you are younger. Very soon, you yourself will again be in the leadership. And probably again, the people will still be thinking that there is a problem. So what I think is that until we are able to change ourselves as the people, so that we start exercising issue-based politics, we can't change the politics. And we must stop being people who are intellectually lazy. When you're intellectually lazy, you respond quickly to emotions. If any time someone says something does not please you, your emotions get up very high. It means intellectually you are lazy. I can challenge you that most of the time when you sit with the people whose intellectual capacity is above average, even when you tell them the highest amount of insults, they sit calmly and do sit. Some of them will even nod until you finish, and then they will respond calmly, objectively. So our intellectual laziness is so high, and that's why we are always quick, want to respond to things quickly. And we want no one to tell us that we are wrong. We always want to be the ones to say who is wrong, and it should never be us. And the leaders we keep pointing at, we don't want anyone to remind us that we are the ones who got them there. Because our leaders don't get there through osmosis.
Or diffusion.
Or diffusion. We are the ones who actually put them there. And when you check very well, in the next election that you are going to, some of you seated here will cross over and join the leaders.
Amen.
So is it true that when they go the other side, someone becomes foolish? I don't think so. I actually think the people continue being the problem, and that's why an objective person today who has done their very good work as a member of parliament, they have developed their constituency somewhere in Mount Kenya, today is being forced by his people to join DCP. And that is the problem. And so because this leader has to look at the reality of the election, he now has to bend to the low intellectual laziness of his people for political survival. But when we raise the bar and make the conversation about issues, you'll be able to see that most of the leaders that we'll remain with will be the creme de la creme. Today, we are discussing the vision. Yeah? Can every political party provide us with what their outlook is of how the vision should look like? Or do they want you to simply shout one term? I can assure you that most of you here have better arguments than your party leader.
Where?
But you can't help it. You have to stay there and keep calling him Your Excellency. Yes, sir. Mheshimiwa. Yet they can't put up half the arguments that you can actually put up here. I have sat in panels with some of the young people from different political parties, and I would see a young person struggle to defend their party leader and actually put up a better argument than their own party leader put up when they were being interviewed. So the first step for us to actually be able to change some of these things, my brother, is that as a people, we have to accept that we are part of the problem. And when we accept that we are part of the problem, we raise the bar to where we want it to be. When we raise the bar to where we want it to be, trust me, those who don't make sense will just fall off. We will need to do nothing about it. We will just fall off. If today we decide that we are going to elect people purely on the basis of what is your agenda and what do you plan, trust me, people will just fall off. We will not need to do much. But because we want to accept to be mobilized on ethnic grounds and want to be accept to be mobilized on emotional grounds, that becomes the problem. That's why your politician loves you much when you are emotional. That is where they want to push you. Every time they want to push you to get annoyed. And that's why when Alionya speaks whatever she will speak, they will take it and package it in a manner that annoys. So that when you get it, You get so mad at Alionya, and your resultant effect of your madness is the benefit of your party leader. So the party leader gets your vote because you got mad at Alionya, who is not vying. So that is usually some of the problems. So I always argue that delete your emotions from governance, by the way. Delete your emotions from governance and we'll make progress. Do not think that governments, I've always told you that governments do not exist for a love and hate relationship. It's not romantic. Stop imagining that President Ruto exists so that you love him or hate him. No, he exists because he's been given a mandate, and therefore what we should be accountable for is the governance. Where is he taking the country? So don't accept to be bullied into a situation whereby you have a love and hate relationship with your member of parliament. At you don't like him. So you don't like him, so what? Yeah? Me too, I don't seem pained too. Because the problem is this, by the way. Whether you love him or hate him, it is 5 years. So which one is better? Which one is better? Collaborate and ensure that he is serving you in the best way forward. Someone talked about the element of, will we even be listened to? Will our ideas just go like that? And I always say, package your ideas right and participate. Because governments are not run on emotions. So trust me, people will participate. As you'll be busy making noise that young people have not been included, suddenly you'll see young people on the table. Then you'll again say, how were they arrived at? But you never applied. You never tried to show interest. And then when they tell you that they picked Alionya because she spoke or trading and said she can be part of it, you say that was a wrong formula. So I always argue that please just come out and ensure that your voice is heard. That's why people who present the voice are better than those who present the noise. There's a lot of noise that happens on the street. But we have very few people who actually package bills and say, we want, on this youth unemployment, we all can make noise, but can we have a youth employment charter? And people put up and they take it to parliament and that is acted upon. By the way, we exist in a country of rule of law. And it's so difficult for you to evade the law of the country of Kenya. Do you know that when you write a letter today to a government institution, they must respond to you within 24 hours? They must, it's our law. So that is how it should be. And then lastly, about the element of we cannot put the entire things into law. By the way, I agree that everything cannot be a law. Because again, it also means we are doubting ourselves too much. But what we are saying is that can we all agree as a country and say this is our vision? You see, if we agree that we are going to Thika, that is the destination. So when we give you the driver's seat, you can choose to go to Mombasa Road and then go to Machakos and go through Kitui and get to Thika. Another one can choose to use the Thika Road and get to Thika. But we have at least agreed that we are all going where? To Thika. So the model operandi is, as you come in as a government, of course, there are those things that you can change, but the destination remains the same. Closingly, as we move towards the vision of the country and as we move towards implementing what we are looking forward to becoming as a country, I look forward to a country where we have done a lot on infrastructure, but we need to do more on productivity. Can our industrialization be better? Can our enterprise be better? That way, our employment status will even rise. That as we move into the next dispensation of how we want the country to be in our Vision 2060, can we move from just looking at GDP as a figure to income? So that, are we just saying double-digit economy? Or is the person in my village in Bumula feeling that in their pocket down there? So that at the end of the day, it must come down to the household income. And as we look forward to the vision, I look at a situation where our country will have institutions that have more legitimacy to the people than the politicians. Because as it stands today, we believe our politicians more than the institution. That is why when EACC says Mwalimu Odoyo is corrupt, we quickly say he's a Luo. And we believe the fact that he's a Luo more than he's corrupt. So as we move the country to that next dispensation, that is what I'm looking forward to. That at the end of the day, a child that's born in Kenya at that time has an equal opportunity to the child born in Singapore. And that's why I'm greatly in support of anything that makes us think progressive. Thank you.
I'm adding nothing to that.